I am super pumped to announce Empower the Kingdom. This has been a vision. It has been a dream. It's been something that has been given over the past couple of months, and now it is finally coming to reality after a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing, a lot of prayer, a lot of talking to different people to make sure that it works. And so what Empower the Kingdom is a social media marketing agency for churches and faith-based organizations. And this came from several months ago, started a company called Kingdom Empowered, right? That is a faith-based organization that puts out a ton of content, ton of media, and we've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about posting and what to post and how to reach people that want to hear what Kingdom Empowered's message is, which is Jesus. And so now we want to turn that loose. We want to come and engage with churches. We want to come and engage with faith-based organizations who want that, who desire that, who want to increase their reach, increase their audience, actually use social media as a tool rather than it just like laying it to the side and kind of ignoring it as this distraction that everybody uses, right? And every church, every organization, you're on social media one way or another. You might be live streaming, you might be on Instagram, you might be on Facebook, you might be somewhere so that people can connect with you, right? And I think that there's a huge gap in the market. There's a huge gap in that I want everyone to understand the power of social media as a tool and how many people you can reach exactly where they are with it rather than just using it as reminders, or rather than just using it as a tool that can help people get into a building once a week or twice a week or whatever it is, right? There was a DM that we got at Kingdom Empowered, right? And we had posted this reel that was a prayer for healing, right? And the caption had some different things of if you're struggling with any kind of a sickness or a loved one is struggling with any kind of sickness, then check this out, right? And here's a prayer that you can say. And we got a DM back from that reel, or somebody responded to that reel. And it was a mother who was in a hospital. And she said that she was at the hospital waiting for a bunch of tests from her son getting examined and tested and all this kind of stuff, waiting for the test results to get back. And she was freaking out, anxiety, stress, everything going out the window, which I completely get, right? Her child's in the hospital and something's wrong. But she said that she was scrolling through Instagram to distract herself, to keep herself from crying in front of her son. And she was scrolling on Instagram and that prayer came up, a prayer for healing. And she said that it brought her back. It got her to where she needed to be. And that is what every single church in the world can be doing on social media. That is what every single ministry, every single missionary, every single faith-based organization, person, podcast, YouTube channel can be doing. And based on just experience and talent and personnel and experience and all these things that we have, we want to bring that to the world. And so what I actually have here with me today is two of my best friends, Corey and Matt, who are on our podcast for Kingdom Empowered that we do, and they're in clips and different things on Instagram, and they help out with both Kingdom Empowered and Empower the Kingdom itself as their sister, brother companies, whatever you...
Friends.
They're friends,
Dance
right?
partners.
But what I kind of really wanted to do was give this kind of little introduction and then have Corey and Matt play the part of you. Okay, so you're out there, you're like, what is Empower the Kingdom? What do you do? How does it work? Why? All of these different questions that you might have. I thought, hey, why not just have two people sitting here and ask me questions and let me answer? And honestly, they might have some answers too, and we'll kind of see where it goes. So do you guys have any questions about Empower the Kingdom? Pretend you know nothing, and we're starting from scratch.
What do you know that the mom that's running our social media accounts right now doesn't know?
We are starting off really strong.
Don't go after mom.
All right, that's what we're doing. So here's the thing: is all of my experience for the past 6-7 years is in online marketing, and it's in social media marketing and social media running ads and all these different things. And I want to bring up this really interesting point is a lot of people think the way that you win on social media is going and finding the biggest people, the people with the most followers or the most engagement or whatever it is, and basically copying what they do. And while that's not a terrible strategy and it's not going to hurt you in any means, right? Here's what I would say is Elevation Church, which is a phenomenal church. They're amazing and they're massive and they're incredible, right? They have 1.7 million followers on Instagram last time I checked. If the message that Elevation had and the way that Elevation has their reels and their graphics and all those different things, if everyone wanted that message, if everyone related to that message, if that message related or spoke to every single person, they would have a lot more than 1.7 million followers. And so I would say the biggest difference between us and anyone who, you know, is just like, oh, I like Facebook or I like Instagram, I'm going to go run social media, I'm going to post some stuff on there, is we understand this principle that you as a church or as a faith-based organization, you have your own culture. You have your own message. You have your own branding. You have, what you have is you, and it's been built, whether it be over the last couple of months, couple of years, couple of decades, right? And we want to help you using our knowledge and our experience of social media with all of what the algorithms do and hashtags and captions and SEO and how music relates to it and how captions relate to it and where it's shared and how it's shared and what ads are run and what audience those are run to and who it's targeted to, right? To allow your message, your culture, your brand, your church, your voice, and the message that God has put on your heart to deliver to the masses, to the people that need your message the most, that are going to relate to your message the most, that are called to your message the most. And that's what we want to do.
Yeah. I think that any church that's out there, they're all asking like the same question. And this question has been asked throughout time and throughout generations of people, but it keeps coming back. It's how do we connect with, how do we reach the next generation? And how do you respond to that?
I would respond with that of every generation, so for decades, centuries, right? Every generation that has wanted to reach the next generation, right, has had to adapt and change in one way or another, right? Maybe it has been the type of music that you played. Maybe it has been the order of the service that you do. Maybe it has been some kind of production. Maybe it has been the size. Maybe because, there are places, mega churches, right? This thing is that those are great for a lot of people. But what's also great is central Pennsylvania, small town, and there's a church that 200 people go to, but those 200 people are getting reached, right? I wanted to say wrought, but that's not right. And I think that the big thing here is that as I look back, even look at what do people connect with in the world, right? Or what do people spend the most time with in the world? Look at even like just in the Christian space, look how music has changed from the 70s, the 80s, the 90s to the 2000s, 2010s. Now we're in the 2020s, right? And where you're reaching people at is what's crucial. And I think that using social media, not just as a highlight reel or to look cool, right? Using social media, not just to try to show off whatever, but using social media to put across real, encouraging messages, teachings, lessons, things that apply to people in their daily lives, or things that people have always had questions about, or things that people, there's a question in the back of their mind and they don't know who to ask, or they don't know why, like where to ask it at. That can happen on social media. I mean, 30 years ago, right? You couldn't do this. It didn't exist. A church's reach was purely limited based on what was geographically around you, right? And as technology increased, you saw churches, you have seen and are seeing churches like Elevation, who we spoke about earlier, who now has, I don't know how many campuses they have, more than 20? I don't know, right? But they have a lot of campuses that stream from one campus and a video goes to all the other campuses, right? And they're using technology to do that, to make sure that their culture and their messaging and all of these things stay the same across all of their campuses so that they can actually be united and not just a bunch of buildings in a bunch of different places. With social media, we have the ability to do that, but it's not only with people who can attend one of our campuses or who live close to us. It can be with people 1 mile away, 10 miles away, 1,000 miles away, 10,000 miles away, somewhere halfway across the world. And I think what it also does is that if you use it as a tool, it does create a community, right? And there's a lot of people who have a lot of negative things to say about this. And there are negative things about social media and the internet and all of those things. There always has been, there always will be. But when you go into it with a certain expectation and you go into it with a certain kind of path and direction that you want to go, and you go, we're going to inspire people and we want to use social media to connect people who live in North Carolina and New York and California and Montana and Texas and Arkansas, but who are all going through the same thing and they never have the ability to connect with each other before. That, like, social media can provide that, and that's how we reach the next generation. You know, I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling on this,
No,
but
it's
a
good.
couple of years ago, I was the next generation.
Sure.
I'm 31 years old, right? A couple of years ago, it was how do we reach me, right? And now I'm thinking, not only how do I reach, like, I want to reach people who are my age and my generation. I want to reach people that are older than us. I want to reach people that are younger than us, and everywhere in between. And the thing is that there's a thing going around of people assume that TikTok is just for kids and teenagers. It's not true. I can actually show you the demographics from Kingdom Empowered TikTok that shows that the audience that watches Kingdom Empowered the most on TikTok is actually 44 and up, I believe. It's pretty high. It's like 44 and up are the mass amount of the 300,000 some views that we have on TikTok.
Yeah. I think it's also interesting if we were being realistic too, and we said, like, what was different about Jesus, dude? Like, really, like at the time and space that he was in, you know. And I think of, like, what is, they looked at, like, he took the gospel, he took God outside of the temple and to people. Like, we always look at it like, well, the special thing about Jesus, man, he meets you where you're at. Isn't that amazing? Jesus
Let's actually
will meet
live
you
that.
where. And so, like, if we actually were honest and we said, where are people right now? The reality is they're on their phone.
And I would argue that the people who, including myself, right? I'm talking to, like, me and everyone, right? But I know that when I'm scrolling on Instagram, it's because I'm trying to distract myself from something. Right? It is, or you can call procrastination, distractions, whatever you want to call it, but it is. It's because something is going on and I don't want to deal with it. Or something, I need to do something and I don't want to do it yet. So I'm going to scroll. Okay. And I'm going to look at all these things. And so many people do that. And so what if in those moments of distraction, in those moments of maybe somebody is in a hospital with their child, but maybe somebody is on the couch dealing with an addiction problem, or maybe somebody is at their job wishing that, I don't know. It doesn't matter. How can we meet people in those moments exactly where they are, when I would claim that they could be at some of the, like, need the most help?
Yeah. Yeah. When we're at that moment, we're just scrolling, looking for a distraction, looking for something to numb us, to go through. It's like, we're the most vulnerable.
Yes.
And what if, like, something pops into your feed just based on where you're at that is actually a word of encouragement?
Right.
A word that says you are seen, you are loved,
Right.
by a God that is love, and there is a better way to live. There is more freedom. There is more peace. And then that scroll turns you into a life-changing kind of decision.
Right. And if you think about all the conversations that are happening in churches, in culture, in basements, in gatherings, right? There's so many conversations, right? Hear me on this, on all the things that are wrong in the world, right? Regardless of where you stand, regardless of what you believe, regardless of anything, we can talk about how this side is doing this and we don't agree with it. This side is doing this and we don't agree with it. This person did this and we don't like it at all. The world is like, we can talk about all of these negative things. And social media, honestly, like builds on that, right? It allows people to have a platform where you can complain and you can get millions of views. And a lot of people do it for the content. They do it to get those millions of views, right? But if we can help churches, we can help people out there, faith-based organizations, we can help people bring Jesus into all of that mess that is social media, right? Think about all, like, I promise you that if you're watching this and I said, make like a cons list, like not a pro con list, like just make a cons list of social media. Like everyone could write down 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 20 things that's wrong or bad about social media, right? Why can't we go there and be the message and be the heart and be the love and be what Jesus was on the earth?
Right. Because would he go to where everything was perfect? Did he go to where everything was like neat and orderly and put together? No.
And I think that this is such a powerful thing. And when Kingdom Empowered was started, right, which was started first, it was this idea of Kingdom Empowered was built to reach more people for Jesus. And now all I see is Empower the Kingdom is a massive, huge addition to that, of where now I don't want it to just be Kingdom Empowered or churches here and there, once a week or once a month, or specific churches, certain churches who maybe have a creative team or a marketing team that has 20 people on it. I don't want those to be the only people that are putting this good news of the gospel out onto social media. I want it to be everyone. I want it to be every church. I want it to be every ministry. I want it to be every Christian out there with a podcast or YouTube channel, or you're writing a book. It doesn't matter. If everyone did that, and if everyone did that in a way where now people start scrolling through social media and all it is good news.
Yeah.
All it is blessing. All it is prayers. All it is touching people and helping people and reaching people where they're at. Think about, like, we always hear this message in the Christian world of like, think about what we could do. We're going to change our city. We're going to change our state. We're going to change our country. We're going to change the world, right? Here's the thing. No offense to anybody, right? But it's really hard to change the world from a small building located somewhere, or a big building located somewhere that is 100% still geographically limited, even if you're streaming on YouTube every Sunday. What can reach people is social media all over the world.
Yeah.
Gotta meet people where they are.
Absolutely. And
yeah, I think too, it's like there's like a misconception, I believe, that it's like you look at these mega churches, Elevation, Transformation, people that are doing all this stuff on social media, and you're like, well, we don't have the team, we don't have the resources to do that. But the reality is, if you're a church that streams your service,
yes,
and puts it on YouTube, you've done 50% of the work, if
correct,
not more already.
Yes.
You have the content already available. You have the message already down. All you need is the second, third piece of that puzzle to come in, and like that's what we can do.
If you already record and stream your service out, right, at a decent quality, because some people record at like 360 and it's like, okay, right? But like 1080p, you're streaming to YouTube or maybe Facebook or wherever it is, right? If we work together, right? If we partner together, your church, you, whoever you are, and Empower the Kingdom, you have already done, I'm going to say 97% of the work. I'm at 99 maybe. I'm serious, because
a lot. Yeah.
We can take that recording, okay? And here's, right? Yeah. We'll take that recording, and here's what we do. We have a producer who goes through and watches that entire message, that entire sermon, that entire service, right? And what they're going to do is they're going to cut out at minimum 7 reels, which are 60 seconds or less, short form content that's going to go on Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, okay? Then what they're going to do is, as they're going through, they're also going to cut out at minimum 6 clips, video clips, which are anywhere from 1.5 minutes to 10 minutes long. And those are going to be posted, can be posted on Facebook as well, and YouTube itself as a clip posted every single day between Sundays, right? Our team is also then going to edit those, put captions in, put your branding in, do whatever we can to make it look nice, look good, look approachable, right? Like attract people, grab people's attention, right? We're going to write the captions for you. If we need hashtags, we're going to come up with the hashtags for you. And we can go as far as if you give us access to your social media accounts, we will post it for you. We'll schedule it for you. We will literally do the entire process for you. And all we need from you at Empower the Kingdom is a recording of your service and preferably a brand guide, like actual images of your logo, your brand colors, all of that kind of stuff, so we can make sure we fit within what you're doing and not look like somebody else is creating it. It's coming from your church, your message, your brand, your culture. We can do it all. And the crazy thing is, we're sitting in a place where we can do this. I don't want to overpromise, right? And I don't necessarily want to put a guarantee on this, but what I will say is we have every intention and are working very hard for our clients where there is a post, at minimum one post that goes up, one video post, right? Not an image, not whatever, a video post that goes up every single day on Instagram Reels, right? YouTube Shorts, one on YouTube, Facebook Reel, and a Facebook Full Clip, and TikTok. Every single day, that's what was that,
11Z.
posts a day on 4 different social media platforms from your church. Then that is what we're trying to bring.
Yeah.
It's what we can do.
You mentioned SEO earlier.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Why should I care about it?
Yeah. So search engine optimization is what SEO stands for. And it's basically thinking like this of when somebody searches for something on Google, right? And they type in church. There are certain churches that show up on the first page. There are certain searches that show up on the second page. There are certain searches that show up on the third page, so on and so forth, right? There's a common saying that if you want to go to a graveyard, go to the second page of Google, right?
It's bad.
No one
It's
ever
already
goes
out
to
there,
the second page of Google, right? But what SEO really does is whether it be on Google, right? Or it be on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, of when people are searching, when they're searching for something, that depending on the keywords, depending on your message, depending on who you are, depending on where you are, depending on what you're talking about, that we can take out keywords of that so that when people search, we would work to have your message, your church show up for whatever that keyword.
I think you talked a lot.
Yeah.
I'm excited though, because I do think it's not like we use words like there's a market for this, but it's not even about like a market. Like there is like a real need.
Yeah. I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's exciting for me because I think that this can be bigger than I realize or anybody else realizes. And I think that the reasoning behind that is because this was God-breathed. It's been prayed over. Guidance has been sought out. And it's to spread the name of Jesus, right? And I think that when we think about those things and we think about the compounding efforts of not just doing it for one church or not just doing it for my church, right? I am the least concerned about spreading my face everywhere. I want to spread the message of Jesus everywhere, and Empower the Kingdom doesn't really care. Think about this. This is probably why, if you're watching this anytime probably close to, middle to end of 2023, there's probably not a ton of content out about Empower the Kingdom itself other than content around this, because we have no intention of creating an Empower the Kingdom brand. We want Empower the Kingdom to be empowering the kingdom, the mass of churches and people out there, and compound the efforts and reach more people, and not just put out one message or put out one kind of speaking style or one kind of thing that looks a certain way. We want to take churches from everywhere, from every background, with every different kind of preacher, every denomination really. And we want to put it out there on social media, and we want to find the people who, once again, are drawn to that, relate to that, need that, and we want to show it to them. That's what we're working for. So appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys asking. and answering some questions yourself.
Good stuff.
But I'm excited. There's a link down below to the website. If you're interested in working with us, you can go down there. You can fill out a form. It's super cool. But other than that, we'll be here. We're working on it. Thank you.
Love you guys.
Don't know how to end anything
Say
ever.
love you guys.
So, love you guys.